Here we go. All right, welcome. So here we go to our mindfulness chat, and it's our second one. I wanted you all to see, I'm going to share a screen on Stress Shifter, which is this organization I work for and I do lots of free stuff for. I make a calendar for everyone, and in the calendar, I want you guys to see this. This is the one for today, Daily Transformation Calendar. Today, I will face and learn from the challenges of today. I may not, you can hear my dogs, I may not be able to predict the future, but I'm capable of making the best choices possible in the present moment with the information on hand. Wow, isn't that what we have to do? That is what mindfulness is. This is what we started to talk about last week, or on Monday. Mindfulness is in the present moment, and that we don't have all this judgment. We don't have all this worry. We really get in the present moment, and we know that we're capable of making the best choice with the information that we have right now. And that's all we can really do, is do that. Now today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about meditation, because this is a mindfulness talk and meditation. And so I'm going to give you guys some real practical understanding of why meditation is important, how it actually changes your brain, okay? And then also we're going to do 2 meditations today. 2! Don't get scared. It's going to be so good. You guys are going to love it. We're going to do 1 meditation that we can use real quick when we feel a lot of anxiety. I'm going to show you one there. And then we're going to do a breathing meditation. And we're going to do this more at the end. I wanted to see what happens if I go like this. I want to pick, so if I hit that. Marilyn, do you see me right now? Give me a wave. Okay, Marilyn, I want you to do me a favor. One thing we're going to do every time is we're going to pick a mindfulness card from my deck, Just One Thing, by Rick Hanson, and it's going to teach us a tool and a technique. So, Marilyn, with your hand, can you tell me, let me see if I can actually unmute you. Here you go. There you go, Marilyn. Tell me a number, any number between 1 and 12.
7.
7. Okay, that is great. Now I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to go like this. I'm learning how to do this. 7. So here we go. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. 7. The card says, here we go. I'm going to get it like that. Let things change. Things change constantly, large and small. You grow older, friends get ill, children leave home, and your favorite sports team might not do so well this year. But we need to allow things to change, not to come in fighting with it, but to know that things always will change. This is a very important mindfulness card for us to have right now, because things are changing. And we didn't know that we would be in this pandemic and at stay-at-home order. That's a lot of change. And you can say, well, that's change for the negative. But see, mindfulness is dropping the judgment and being empowered by change. And knowing that actually, because change is always happening, this will change. The virus will leave. I want you to understand that. And we can learn new skills during this time. We are going to change no matter what. So we get to choose, what are we going to change about? Change is actually our superpower. Don't think of it as your enemy happening to you. Allow change to be happening through you. So this is our big mindfulness tip, is that we are empowering change. And when you see things change, go, well, that is just a force. It's kind of like any kind of thing, like a hammer. A hammer I can build, right, a building with, and I can put in nails and build this beautiful structure, or I could take a hammer and throw it through my window and crack my window. It's just a hammer, but it's what we do with that hammer. Change is just going to happen, but it's a power in which we can grab onto and we can use to actually become more ourselves, to understand ourselves more, to love other people more, to learn more skills. And that's what this class is about. This class is about the mindfulness talk and meditation, to know that we're going to change, and we're choosing today in this time to learn new skills to change for the better. So you guys with me? Give me some thumbs up, everyone. We're embracing change. Yay, I love that card. All right, there is a wonderful neuroscientist. Her name is Sarah Lazar, and we're going to talk about meditation. I'm actually going to take you, we're crossing our fingers, to one of my very favorite talks that's on YouTube. And she talks about how meditation actually changes your brain. What a great card that you picked, Marilyn. It's exactly, we did not plan this. I want you to know. We did not plan this, but here we go. I want you to watch this because there's lots of people who will tell you meditation is good for you and that it changes your brain, but who really knows, right? So I don't want you to take anything from me. I want you to hear what the scientists say. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do this, share my screen. Here we go. And I'm going over to a YouTube that I had set up. I'm pretty sure, no one worry, I have everything set up. So let's see if we go here. Here's my YouTube. I just don't like when that happens. How? Here we go. It is 8 minutes long.
We are being censored.
What?
America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. I'm Joshua Phillip, senior investigative reporter with the Epoch Times, and we stand for truth and tradition. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. They're not out to tell you the truth of what's happening. They're out to tell you the picture of the world they represent. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in facts, and prevent people from being misled. This isn't just a mission of the paper, it's a mission of those involved in it. It's something we truly believe in. The Epoch Times is independent. We're not controlled by any special interest, and we never will be.
Found it. Sorry about that. Figuring this out myself. And I'm going to just bring her along a little bit. She's talking about how she had, she was exercising to run a marathon and she pulled a muscle and her doctor said she couldn't run and she had to go to a yoga class.
Run the Boston Marathon. So I went to the yoga class and I really enjoyed it, except for when the teacher would make all sorts of claims, all sorts of medical claims, but also all sorts of, claims about, oh yes, it'll help you, increase your compassion and open your heart. And it's just like, and my eyes would roll and I think, yeah, I'm here for, to stretch. But what was interesting was that after a couple of weeks, I started noticing some of these changes. I started noticing that I was calmer and I was better able to handle difficult situations, and that indeed I was feeling more compassionate and open-hearted towards other people, and I was better able to see things from other people's point of view. And I was like, how could this be? How could this be? And I thought, well, maybe it's just a placebo response, right? She told me I was going to feel this, so maybe that's why I was feeling it. So I decided to do a literature search to see if there's any research on this. And lo and behold, there was quite a bit, showing both yoga and meditation are extremely effective for decreasing stress. They're also very good for reducing symptoms associated with numerous diseases, including depression, anxiety, pain, and insomnia. They also, there's a couple of very good studies demonstrating it can actually improve your ability to pay attention. And most interesting, I thought, virtually every study has shown that people are just happier. They report they're more satisfied with their life and they have a higher quality of life. And so this was interesting to me. And so I decided to switch and start doing this sort of research. And so as a neuroscientist, how could this be happening? How can something as silly as a yoga posture or sitting and watching your breath, how could that lead to all these sorts of different types of changes? So what we know is that whenever you engage in a behavior over and over again, that this can lead to changes in your brain. And this is what's referred to as neuroplasticity. And what this just means is that your brain is plastic and that the neurons can change how they talk to each other with experience. And so there's a couple of studies demonstrating that you can actually detect this using machines like the MRI machine. The first study was with juggling. They took people who had never ever juggled before and they scanned them. And then they taught them how to juggle and it said, keep practicing for 3 months. Then they brought them back after 3 months and they scanned them a second time. And they found that they could actually detect with the MRI machine changes in the amount of gray matter in the brain of these people in areas that are important for detecting visual motion. So I thought, okay, 3 months, can we detect, can meditation change brain structure too? That's something as, as simple as, juggling. What about meditation? So the first study we did, we recruited a bunch of people from the Boston area, and these were not monks or meditation teachers. These were just average Joes who on average practice meditation about 30 or 40 minutes a day. And we put them in the scanner, and we compared them to a group of people who are demographically matched, but who don't meditate. And what we found is this, that there were indeed several regions of the brain that had more gray matter in the meditators compared to the controls. One of the regions I'm going to point out to you is here in the front of the brain. It's an area that's important for working memory and executive decision making. And what was interesting about it was when we actually plotted the data versus their ages. So here in the red squares, that's the controls. And this is something you see actually, it's been well documented that as we get older, not just there, but across most of our cortex, it actually shrinks as we get older. And this is part of the reason why as we get older, it's harder to figure things out and to remember things. And what was interesting was that in this one region, the 50-year-old meditators had the same amount of cortex as the 25-year-olds, suggesting that meditation practice may actually slow down or prevent the natural age-related decline in cortical structure. So now the critics, and there were many critics, said, well, meditators, they're weird. Maybe they're just like that before they started practicing, right? Or a lot of them, they're vegetarians. So maybe it has something to do with their diet or something else with their lifestyle, couldn't possibly do the meditation, it had something else, right? And to be fair, that could be true. This first study could not address that. So we did a second study. In this study, what we did is we took people who had never meditated before and we put them in the scanner, and then we put them through an 8-week meditation-based stress reduction program where they were told to meditate every day for 30 to 40 minutes. And then we scanned them again at the end of the 8 weeks, and this is what we found. So what you see is that several areas became larger. In this slide, we can see the hippocampus. And in the graph, the controls are in blue and the meditation subjects are in red. And what we see is that the hippocampus, and this is an area that's important for learning and memory. It's also important for emotion regulation. And what's interesting is there's less gray matter in this region in people who have depression and PTSD. Another region we identified was the temporal parietal junction, which is here above your ear. It's important for perspective taking and empathy and compassion. And again, these are both functions which people report changing when they start practicing meditation and yoga. Another region we identified was the amygdala, and the amygdala is the fight or flight part of your brain. And here we actually found a decrease in gray matter. And what was interesting was that the change in gray matter was correlated with the change in stress. So the more stress reduction people reported, the smaller the amygdala became. And this was really interesting because it's sort of the opposite and parallel of what some animal studies have shown. So Chatterjee and colleagues using rodents, they took rodents who were just happy, normal rodents, and they had them in their cage, and they measured their amygdala, and then they put them through a 10-day stress regimen. And at the end of the 10 days, they measured their amygdala, and this exact same analogous part of their rat brain grew. So we found a decrease with stress, they found an increase with stress. What was interesting is that then they left the animals alone, and 3 weeks later they went back and tested them again. And 3 weeks later, that same part of the amygdala was still large, and the animals, even though they were in their original cages where they were happy, were still acting stressed out. So they, were cowering in the corner, and they just weren't exploring the space the way they had before. And so this is the exact opposite of what we saw with the humans, because with the humans, nothing has changed with their environment. They still had their stressful jobs, all the difficult people in their lives are still being difficult, and the economy still sucked, but yet, their amygdala got smaller and they were reporting less stress.
Okay, so let's just stop there. This is huge, guys. I want you really to understand what's happening. What they're saying and what she was saying is that when you're meditating, okay, and when you're practicing meditation, that here your prefrontal cortex is actually growing. Now, if you do not meditate and you don't practice using things with your prefrontal cortex, aging just decreases that automatically. So as you're aging, this is decreasing. And then what we want to do is do exercises to have it at least stay the same or increase. Now, she also talked about the amygdala. The amygdala is your fear response. And we're going to be talking about the amygdala on Monday. When we come back, I'm going to do a talk on how to handle the fear response and why we have the fear response, and also how to handle when other people are having the fear response. So that's our Monday talk. But our amygdala is the part of the brain that gets activated when we're really stressed out. We get that fear response. What they found out is that when we meditate, here, where compassion and empathy is, this part of our brain, our higher level part of our brain, that's growing, and our amygdala that activates our fear response gets smaller. Is that so cool? Now, with animals, they got them all, freaked out no matter what, and their amygdala, they saw it grow. Then they put them in a non-stressful situation back into their nice cages, and they could cuddle up and they could eat. And then they measured their amygdala later. Their amygdala still was a very, very big. They kind of had like post-traumatic stress disorder. It grew and it never decreased. They were still very, very stressed out from what they had learned. But with human beings, when they found out, no matter if they've been in they have a stressful job. She didn't even know about the virus when this was all happening. The virus is happening. That's all stress. That's going on. People were having that. And then they taught them to meditate. Because they were practicing meditation, they were able to get the amygdala to get smaller and the prefrontal cortex, where you have compassion and empathy and calmness, get larger. So what I'm saying is, if you're stressed out, meditate more. Meditate more. Okay, so now we're going to say, well, what is meditation, Lindsay? That's great. Now, but I hear things all over. Do I need to stand and do this weird yoga pose? The answer is no. No weird yoga poses, nothing like that. There are forms and many forms of meditation. But the bottom line when it comes to mindful meditation is that what you're doing is you're learning how to control your brain to be on one thing at a time. You're not multitasking. You're not solving the world problems. You're just focused on one thing at a time. And when your brain comes in with a thought, last Monday we talked about allow your thoughts come in. You don't attach onto that thought and start telling yourself a story. So one thing, the most common thing that people meditate on is their breath. Just that's the one thing. They call that the anchor, the breath. Now, someone, and I'm very thankful, sent me a question, and I really would love any kind of questions. Feel free to send them to me. And they said, well, what's the difference between a guided meditation and then doing meditation in silence? Okay. Now let's think about it. When we're having a guided meditation, if we were in a scan, she was talking about the MRI scan where they can see that all the brain and how it's activating and so forth. A lot of your brain would be activated up, right? And so you're using lots of parts because you're listening or you're seeing, you're following, you're thinking a little bit. That's fine. If that is the anchor you need to stay on that one topic, that one person's voice, or that sound, or that mantra, or that song, if you use that, because you're learning how to control your mind, so when other thoughts come in, you don't get attached to it. You know how they always go, squirrel, squirrel, news report, right? My phone went off. We all have this knee-jerk reaction. Doorbell. Oh my gosh, have you ever gotten panicked more when you hear the doorbell go off? My God, my husband freaks out like someone's just coming to rob our house because the doorbell. I'm like, relax. just a delivery person, they're gone, right? Because what has happened is that we get so anxious and we're moving around. We want to learn how to control our brain. Then if we hear the doorbell or the phone, we don't have this story that someone's attacking us, that we can stay calm. And meditation is teaching us how to stay on one thing at a time. So guided meditation is a real good way to stay on that voice or that sound, whatever you're doing in the guided meditation. There's nothing wrong with it. If you're tired, if you're anxious, if you have the coronavirus, whatever's going on in your neighborhood, and you're so distracted and irritable, guided meditation is awesome because you can just relax and just sink into that person's voice and practice that meditation with that guide. Now, when you're in a more relaxed state, you might want to do silent meditation. And so that's where you would sit down and you would just listen to your own breath. And then when your mind starts wandering off, you say, no, back to my breath. And if you practice it a lot and practice it with time, sometimes you then don't even have to listen to your breath. You can just get into the flow of the silence. And that's where they're saying no thought. Now, let me tell you how often I do that. Look at me. I am an A-type person. I'm wound up going here. My mind is solving problems, planning trips, thinking about what we're going to teach the next day, calling friends. So I need usually to have an anchor to practice my meditation and to stay focused on. And I personally do a breath meditation, a breath. So I just breathe in and breathe out. And then when my thoughts come in, like we practice on Monday, I don't judge them. I just say, well, I'm planning, now back to my breath. And I'm learning how to train my mind. When you learn how to train your mind through meditation, then later on, when you're not meditating, your brain won't be attached to squirrels or doorbells or to the news. You don't get that fight, flight response right away because you can stay more in a calm state of mind. You're not living a life of reaction. Does that make sense? Can I have some thumbs up on that? Look at that. I love that. That's really, really great. So this is very important for us to remember that meditation, this is a mini version, and Mondays and Wednesdays, we're going to practice different kinds of meditations. I'm going to tell you about a meditation right now that you can do, okay, at any time. And what you do it when you're feeling anxious. Has anyone felt anxious recently? Like a little overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I think my head's about to pop off. So how do people are like, Lindsay, I can't sit down and just breathe. I'm crawling out of my skin. How do I calm myself down and do that kind of thing? Well, I call this the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 meditation. And I made a video on it. And I want you to know, if you go to YouTube and you put in stress shifter, you'll come up with all my whole bunch of different videos I've done. And Monday's class is there, and I'm going to load this meditation later today on YouTube, on Stress Shifter. Okay, 5. What you do is you take a breath, get in a comfortable position. 5, you close your eyes and think of 5 things that are in the room. So you're envisioning the room. Okay, so when I close my eyes right now, I can see my alarm clock. I can see my computer. I can see my window. I can see my light. I pick 5 things. Now, why do we do this? Because your mind is so distracted and in anxiety. We're trying to pull it into the present moment. So we're going to close our eyes and envision the room we're in and pick 5 things. Now, after you do that, you'll start settling yourself down. Then what I want you to do is pick 4 things you can hear. When you close your eyes to meditate, your ears get totally activated. They're like, yeah, you're closing your eyes, but I'm going to listen to everything around you, and I'm going to distract you with your ears. So listen for 4 different things. It could be your own breath. It could be a car. It might be the wind. It could be a door. It could be a dog. Maybe it's a conversation. Don't tell yourself a story about it. You're just listening. That's all. And then name 4 things you can hear. Then 3. Then go into 3. Now we're pulling ourselves closer to us. 3 things that you personally can physically feel. I can feel my clothes. I can feel my shoulders. And if you feel your shoulders and they're tense, drop them. I can feel my feet on the floor. I can feel the wind. Bring yourself into your body sensations. Just feel for a second. Then when you've done, name 3 things there, 2 things, put 2 things you're grateful for in your mind. I'm grateful that I'm here with you all. And I'm certainly grateful for my friends and my family. I am so grateful. When you go to gratitude, you're releasing dopamine in your mind, and you're really pulling yourself into the observer and into a positive state. So we went from being anxious to pulling ourselves in the present moment, to recognizing how we physically feel, to then being able to be in a positive mode. And then 1, then tell yourself, I'm just going to sit here and breathe and relax. 1, and just go breathe, relax. So let's do this really quickly together. We're going to go get in a nice position that you feel comfortable. Drop your shoulders. Allow your stomach to roll out. We want to just be relaxed and have easy breaths. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a breath in and release. And now think of 5 things in your room that you just saw. 5 things. Go ahead and just name them in your own head. Now take a breath and listen for 4 different things with your ears. So we're only activating our ears right now. What can you hear? Don't tell a story. Just say maybe it's a voice, maybe it's a TV. Now come into your body sensation. Think of 3 things that you can feel, physically feel right now. And if you feel any tension, release the tension. Come in tune with your body. Allow your body just to get relaxed. Maybe feel the clothes on your shoulders or on your legs. You feel your feet on the floor. You're pulling yourself right into the present moment and coming in tune with your body. Think of 3 things you can feel. Now open your heart and think of 2 things that you're grateful for right now. 2 things you're grateful for right now. Really enjoy it. Allow that goodness to enter yourself, this gratitude. So you're shifting yourself completely from anxiety into gratitude and relaxed state. Now come to the anchor of our breath. Let's take 10 breaths. In, out. In, out. The power of the breath, that one thing. 1, 1, 1. Okay, now shake your fingers and your toes and bring yourself with gratitude back into the room. We just did a shifting meditation. You see? 5, name the things around your room. 4, things you can hear, you're pulling into your senses. 3 things that you feel with your body, you're pulling into your body. 2, gratitude, you're opening, you're optimistic in your mind in this way, opening your heart. And then 1, your anchor of your breath, and just sit with that. Can you feel how that was a good shift? All right, I want to show you one other thing. We're almost done our meeting, but I really want to show you this. I'm going to share my screen again. This is a site, and if you put it up, Here, let me share. I go here, and I go here. Nope, not there. Here we go. 5-minute breathing exercise for relaxation and stress relief. Los Angeles Performance Therapy. This, if you need to have more of an anchor, but you don't want to have a guided meditation, if you come to this wonderful, you can see it, site on YouTube. It has this nice sound, exhale, and you just watch it. Inhale, hold, exhale. This is a wonderful beginning guided meditation. It's guided because it's visual, but it doesn't have words. So it's allowing you to be anchored and watch it. Just put in that in YouTube, and that'll pop up. And every day, if you just watch that, what you're doing is you're learning how to train your brain. And then when you're watching it, if you want to start closing your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. So that would be a wonderful breath meditation. So between watching the YouTube video and doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that I'm going to put on the Stress Shifter site, you'll have 2 different meditations you guys can practice. And feel free to always remember Insight Timer has wonderful ones. Calm, Headspace, all of them have wonderful meditations. Now we're going to come back to this classroom next Monday, and we're going to talk more about that amygdala. How are we going to shrink and tame that amygdala so we don't go into that fear response? And I'm excited about that. And I made a really cute, I found this t-shirt. It says Namaste. So I'm going to make this on Facebook. Always remember you can email me or message me there, and it shows the picture of that, of the Namaste. Remember what Namaste means? Namaste means that when I go Namaste means my soul or my energy is greeting your soul or your energy. It's a greeting. You can say it in the beginning when you meet someone, Namaste. It's like saying, hello, I'm greeting your energy. Or you can say it at the end, and Namaste. How was this class for everybody? Yeah? Let's see if I unmute you guys. I'm going to unmute. Here we go. Yay! I've unmuted everyone. I am going to continue to keep teaching and get better with all the technology. I'm always going to be sure. I have a great video. It's shorter for next week to talk about the amygdala and the fear. And together, we are in this together. This is our Sangha. Look at all these people that we have on this group. There's lots and lots of us. Let's see how many.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Namaste. We're going to be back together on Monday.
Yes.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Bye, Dorothy.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Nancy.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Robin.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Kat.
Okay, thank you. See you next week.
Barbara. Thank you so much. Linda, thank you. Wendell and Sally in Florida. So nice. So nice. Elizabeth. Annie. This is so great. Nancy. Just so great. It goes by
Bye,
so fast. Bye, Kathy. Hey, Barbara.
Bye.
Madison, Wisconsin. Woo, woo. Midwest. We got the Midwest on. Namaste, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you Monday.
See you Monday, Marilyn. Thank you for picking the right card.
Yeah.
That was perfect. Accept change. Change is our superpower.
That's right.
It's awesome.
Okay, I don't know how to shut this off, but
That's okay. I think if you go down, it says like leave meeting or end meeting.
oh, I see it. Leave meeting.
Leave.
Okay, I'm leaving. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're always in my heart.
Thank you.
Question.
Yeah, okay, Linda. What's your
First of all, Trudy Cruiser introduced me to you, and I thank her for that. I know you recorded this today. How can I replay it for my sister later?
Okay, that is a good question. Let's see. Stop video. Good, I just stopped it. Okay, thank you for telling me that. Okay, I'm gonna load this up onto the YouTube channel, and that'll be, if you go to YouTube and you go Stress Shifter, you'll come up. Stress Shifter is my name of my YouTube channel, and we'll get it loaded up tonight, so it'll be available tomorrow.
Great.
Okay, and then, but Monday's class is already up there. So Monday's
you.
class is episode 1, and this will be episode 2.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Tell everyone. I love doing this.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Namaste. Namaste.
Hey, Elizabeth, is that, I don't know which Elizabeth it is. It just says Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth Murley.
Hi, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's a great class. I had you before when you spoke at the Y, so I'm so glad you're coming back and helping us again.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Tell other people from the Y. I just love the YMCA. You know that.
Yes, I know you're on the board too, so we're eager to get swimming again.
Me too. Stay healthy, and I'll see you on Monday.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Thank you, Nancy.